G'day, I'm Stuart McMillen and thanks for reading my comic Hitler Denial. Now, as I shoot this video, we're in the lead up to an important global climate summit that will happen in Paris in December 2015. And as you probably know, the climate scientists are telling us we need to cut our CO2 emissions within the next 2 or 3 decades to avoid overshooting 2 degrees of global warming. Now, I'm here at Parliament House in Australia, and unfortunately the leaders of my country, like the leaders of all countries, are currently proposing weak emission reduction targets. So the climate scientists are telling us we need to cut by 80, 90, 100%, but the leaders are proposing cuts of 20, 30 or 40%. In other words, the leaders are only proposing token gestures. They're shooting so low that our actions will do nothing to solve the problem. Now look, of course, if you talk to the politicians about this, they'll say, well, we're just proposing realistic solutions. But what does that word realistic actually mean? If you ask me, what's realistic is just what's convenient to the people who are comfortable with the business as usual status quo. And of course, what's realistic, what's unrealistic is heavily dependent on the assumptions that go into the spreadsheets and the models that the economists use when the economists advise our politicians. And I think on this matter, the economists are showing just how ignorant they are of the physical world that surrounds us. They're showing how ignorant they are of the threat that climate change poses to our civilization. So what do I know? I know that the climate scientists are telling us we need to make the cuts. I know the engineers are telling us that we can make the cuts, but the engineers are also telling us that they need the permission, they need the funding of the politicians in order to start rolling out their technologies on a big scale. So what I'm saying is, in the lead up to the Paris Climate Summit, we need our politicians to start acting like leaders. We need our politicians to be like Winston Churchill, to forget about what's convenient, what's realistic, but to do what is necessary to solve the problem. Now look, if you like my comic Hitler Denial, please help me to draw more comics like it by clicking the purple button beneath this video. Please join my recurring monthly crowdfunding campaign, which you can do for as little as $1 per month. However, if you pledge $10 per month, I will send you a series of limited edition hand-numbered postcards featuring my artwork. Every time I send a new postcard, there'll be a different piece of artwork for you every time. Now look, I don't know anything about you, I don't know anything about your budget, but I'm guessing you could probably afford to spend $1 a month, especially if it's going to a guy like me drawing comics like that. And look, from the way things are going for me as a freelance cartoonist right now, I'm telling you I could really do with that extra $1 a month. So please think about how much you enjoyed your reading experience and click the purple button. And look, I mean, you might as well do it right now while you're thinking about it. So purple button. Anyway, thanks for reading, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.